Beautiful people, ladies and gentlemen, you fellas, we made it. Week 1 of the NFL season is officially here, the first video for it. We're doing another first look, and by another first look, what I mean is we did one when the salaries first dropped. I have not looked at week 1 since then. A few people in the Discord have asked me some questions. A few people on the internet, the social webs, have asked me some questions about week 1. I said I'm going to look at week 1 when week 1 starts. I got this whole time to be doing it. We're going to have 20-something straight weeks of football now, so give me a couple days off, and now we're here. So week 1, the second time I'm ever looking at these salaries, we built a first look lineup, a GPP style, a game stack with the Bengals and the Vikings. And since then, a lot of news has changed. Injuries, big key running backs going down like J.K. Dobbins and Travis Etienne, and players left and right maybe not going to be with the team. Cuts day happened. Preseason standouts happened, and players rising on depth charts who are now insanely cheaply priced. It is the week of value in DFS. The highest value week you'll ever see in DFS for likely any sport is week 1 of the NFL season, because we've had these salaries for a month and a half at this point. So we're going to build another first look lineup from a cash perspective, shape it into a GPP lineup, because I don't really play cash, but if you do, I'm trying to give you the angle for both ways on how to approach this week when there's an overwhelming amount of value. I mean, you have guys in the $3,000 range who are literally the wide receiver ones on their team and are going to project for potentially 8 to 9 to 10 targets. You're rarely going to find that in the amount of them like you will this week. And not only that, but it's a 13-game slate where most weeks, because of buys as the season gets going, you'll see 10, 11 games, if not less some weeks. So naturally, ownership will be spread out, more value on the slate. It's a nice week, and I really do like week 1 because if you've been paying attention all offseason, if you've been dominating preseason like we have, profited over $24,000 from props in the preseason DFS, you know exactly how these rosters are shaping up, exactly where the connections are on this team, and exactly what's happening in camp. And if you don't, well, you're lucky that you're here, because all week long I'll be having content, and my schedule will be posted up on my Twitter. We'll be breaking down the showdown slates, live streams, obviously the main slate, props, bets, waiver wire, stardom, stardom, everything for fantasy football, everything for betting that relates to the NFL is coming your way. The schmacks are back, baby. Let's get into this. So let's build this, and let's start at the quarterback position and kind of talk through these salaries. Again, this is the first time I'm looking at it since a month and a half ago. Only the second time ever. So we're going to be building a salary. Obviously, stuff will be coming out throughout the week, and we'll adjust for that in the videos throughout the week. This is sort of a fun first look for all of you. As you go through it, let me know what you're thinking on your first looks in the comment section. And if you got a second of your time, hit that motherfucking like button. So up at the top here, I'm not really interested in Mahomes, because Mahomes, you're paying a premium, and Mahomes, I mean, obviously somewhat interest, but not really super interested, because you're paying a premium, and he's not being even an elite mobile quarterback. What are you looking for in DFS these days, whether it's cash or GPPs? Elite mobile upside quarterbacks. We saw that take over in a major way last year. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has one of the best seasons as a quarterback ever. 40 touchdowns, barely any interceptions, insane efficiency. He was right there with his 2011 season. He finished as the quarterback 3 because he just doesn't have the elite mobile upside like the Kyler Murray showed last year, like Russell Wilson, who ran for a 3-year high in rushing yards, like obviously Josh Allen and Deshaun Watson, and to an extent Mahomes, but not to these same levels. So if I'm paying all the way up this week, I'm going to lean on the side of Kyler Murray, who has a matchup against what is likely going to be a bottom 10 defense, already with injuries in their secondary, already a bad secondary in Tennessee, and you likely get the most elite upside on the ground outside of Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson is not on this slate, so the most elite mobile upside on the ground in Kyler Murray. So if you're looking to pay up, you have nice stacking options, of course, with Hopkins, very cheap options, which I believe, if we remember from last time, Rondale Moore's like $3K flat, the flat minimum, so that's a way to go. I'm not going to go the right way because I want value. I want mobile upside and value. So can we find that combination as we keep going down? Now, Russell Wilson, you get a little bit of a savings. Again, Russ last year, a 3-year high in rushing yards. Maybe a lot of that is because he had a bad offensive line. The offensive line gets a little bit shored up this year. They trade for Gabe Jackson. Still should be not the greatest of offensive lines. Maybe you get a little bit more mobile upside. Obviously, you get the efficiency against the zone defense in the Colts. But we'll pass on that. And then you get these guys in Herbert, Rodgers, Ryan Tannehill. These guys are all solid. They're great pocket passers. They all have some mobile upside. So in play, especially for certain stacks, but not really my priority. Now, here's a guy who stands out, and I'm just going to click the button on Jalen Hurts. So we slide Jalen Hurts into the lineup for now, because Jalen Hurts is $6,400, and Jalen Hurts has that elite mobile upside. I don't really trust him as a passer, but the reason I didn't like him as much in season long, and I still liked him, but not as much as maybe 6, 7, 8 other quarterbacks, is because he might not play all 17 games if he struggles. We know he's playing week 1. Even if he throws 2 picks, he's probably not getting pulled week 1. We saw him go for 100-plus yards on the ground last year. We saw him throw for 300-plus yards. We know it's possible. He has Devonta Smith now healthy. He has Quez Watkins in the slot, which is a major upgrade from Greg Ward. And he has both his tight ends on this roster as of this recording. I'm recording this about 24 hours in advance, but Ertz is still on the roster and expects to play, and Ertz at least looked decent in the preseason. Had a drop, but he at least looked decent in getting open. And reports are that Hurts is targeting the tight ends a lot, as you would expect in this type of a 2 tight end offense. So for quarterback, and we'll keep scrolling through just to see what else is there, I like him right away because you get the elite mobile upside and you get that nice $1,200 discount off of Kyler Murray, who, let's be honest, Kyler Murray is not no elite passer. He was better last year than Mr. Jalen Hurts in Hurts' limited sample, but Kyler Murray wasn't great with his arm. I know he suffered a shoulder injury later on, but just efficiency-wise, yards per attempt, wasn't great. He was solid because of his legs. And we'll keep sliding down. Cousins is here, probably going to be low owned. Trevor Lawrence is an interesting cat against Houston, which is going to likely be one of the worst defenses this year. Lose J.J. Watt. Already had a terrible secondary. Just $6,200 for Lawrence, who already looks NFL ready and has a very solid receiving core. Some mobility as well. Ran for over 24 yards per game in college. Big Ben's here. Matt Ryan, these are statue quarterbacks. Even Baker Mayfield, statue quarterbacks. Mayfield in the run-first offense. Not really interested. Burrow, we have to talk about because I put him in the lineup last time. He's been struggling in camp. It's this whole getting ready for the season off of the mental side of your ACL. He's already healed physically, but they've been doing a lot of drills in practice, literally surrounding him with like pillows and pool noodles. I'm not even kidding. And just like hitting him left and right just so he can get comfortable with people and bodies being in the pocket. Burrow remains firmly in play. We keep going down. You get the YOLO Ryan Fitzpatrick with some rushing upside, believe it or not, sneaky, but not elite. Cam Newton no longer a starter. 2 is a sneaky one because Jalen Waddle's the flat minimum. You go down a little bit more. There's no Will Fuller week 1, so Waddle, the flat minimum, is fantastic value. You get, obviously, Devontae Parker at a nice discount this week. We'll see if he's actually going to be healthy and ready for week 1. And you do have some hidden upside in terms of mobility in 2 of there. So this is a sneaky one. Now, the problem is he's facing New England. But you have to keep in mind, Stephon Gilmore is not going to be ready for the start of the season. They still have J.C. Jackson. They still have McCourty out there. So this is a strong defense anyways, especially scheming all offseason this whole next 2 weeks, Bill Belichick against Tua. Not the greatest spot to start out for him, but still in play. And we can finish up with a couple more names. Jameis Winston, 5,200. He can obviously light it up. I'm not shocked to see Jameis at some point this year at 7K against the Packers. Yes, their secondary, Darnell Savage, Jair Alexander. They just drafted the rookie in the first round. This should be a strong secondary. It'll probably come down to the pass rush for the Packers. But week 1, Jameis, obviously, you question the weapons. You're probably going to get like 70 to 80 yards, just easy yards, if not a touchdown from Alvin Kamara from him. And then you have Marquez Callaway, Traquan Smith. So not the best weapons by any means, but still, because of Kamara, still pretty solid. Let's see if there's any other cheap dart throws. I mean, Zach Wilson's down here in his first start ever. I'm not really too high on him here. On the season, maybe, but not right now. Anything else? Here's one at least worth mentioning. I mean, Mac Jones is $4,400. It's $2,000 off Jalen Hurts, who we still like. And Mac Jones looked really in control of that offense. You're not going to get mobility. You might get 10 rushing yards if you're lucky, but you're going to get a very controlled offense here. They're probably going to play at a higher tempo than last year. We saw that in the preseason. So if Mac Jones is throwing for 2 touchdowns and has 280 yards and he's only $4,400, but you're coming out of the week with close to 20 points, that's pretty damn solid. And he has obvious weapons to stack with, in the main one being Jacoby Myers. So Mac Jones is probably the cheapest I would go at quarterback because he was expected to be a backup. I don't think anybody else down here is even none of these guys are even starters. So Mac Jones is probably the floor of quarterbacks, and actually a pretty solid floor at that. The next guy I would probably look at would be Jameis Winston. So we'll stick with Jalen Hurts. Let's see what we can do here. He has stacking options from the tight end perspective, from Devonta Smith, who I assume is cheap. I can't really remember his price. We'll get to that. But let's go to the running back position. And you get Christian McCaffrey versus the Jets, and what they're hoping for is a revamped Jets entire team, but really defense. Let's not get too tricky with this. Let's just put Christian McCaffrey in, the man who averages like 30-plus fantasy points per game on Draftkings over the last 2 years. Just absolutely insane. So we'll start with McCaffrey. Obviously expensive, Jalen Hurts, but let's just not get any tricky here. We talked about Dalvin Cook last time. Some concerns that maybe he can like miss a game here or there. Week 1 he should be fine though because of the vaccination status. $9,100 against Cincy. We put him in our first lineup. You can check that one out if you want to. That's solid. Kamara versus Green Bay. Kamara historically just dominates this Green Bay team. They have been for the last 2 to 3 years poor in tackling. New defensive coordinator though from the Rams, so we'll see if that can actually change a little bit. That would be Joe Barry, who actually worked with the linebackers there, so you would hope that actually packs on to the knowledge of the linebackers for the Packers. But Kamara still one of the best plays of the week at the running back position. We'll still lean with McCaffrey, even though the price hike. Jonathan Taylor's overpriced in my opinion. Naeem Hines, they already said they want to use him more. He's the third down back. I'm not really too interested in Jonathan Taylor as of right now. Saquon, if he's healthy, clearly in play. There's a nice price on him. Eckler at 7K is strongly in play for me. No threat in terms of backfield competition. Might actually get more red zone touches this year. You're going to continue to see him at least 6 targets out of the backfield when healthy, and he has an improved offensive line. One of the most, I would say, the most improved offensive line. The Chiefs revamped, but they already had a good offensive line. The Chargers go from, honestly, maybe worse in the league, bottom 5 in the league offensive line, to potentially top 10 all overnight one offseason because they draft Rashawn Slater, and they get the best and likely smartest center in football in Corey Linsley. So Eckler firmly in play. We won't put him in this yet because he's a little expensive. We already paid up for McCaffrey. We'll see if we can find some value. Aaron Jones is cheaper than Eckler. That's ridiculous. I mean, A.J. Dillon is there, sure. I'm not too concerned about A.J. Dillon. He's not a red zone back. They rotate series. I'm going to put Aaron Jones in there for now, but I assume we can probably find a cheaper running back. James Robinson, because of the injury, $6,400, going to probably be a 3-down back. fantastic matchup. We're taking out Aaron Jones. I mean, Najee Harris is $6,300. I like, obviously, Aaron Jones a lot. Maybe we can get him in as our third running back, our flex. But Najee Harris here at $6,300. I mean, I have Najee Harris easily projecting out for over 350 opportunities this year. Najee Harris should see 20 touches a game in this Pittsburgh offense. That is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he's going to see 350 touches potentially this year. Everything's loaded up for him. But their offensive line is bad. So are a lot of other teams, and they still do well, those running backs. I mean, just look at Christian McCaffrey a few years back. Bottom 10 offensive line, and you know what Christian McCaffrey did because he had pass-catching chops. Najee Harris, not as elite as a receiver as Christian McCaffrey, but surely can catch. He caught 40-plus balls in college last year, can catch 70-plus balls this year. And for what it's worth, the Steelers' offensive line in the regular season looked very, very good, or in the preseason looked very, very good. You might be saying it's the preseason. It's at least worth mentioning because the starters are in there for about 2 quarters in a lot of these games, and that's starting defenders as well. So the rookies and the younger players looked good for the Steelers, which is obviously only a positive. We'll keep going down. Joe Mixon is here. I'll take Najee Harris over Mixon. They have similar offensive line concerns. I'll just take Najee Harris. They're both 3-down backs. There's really no difference. Like Joe Mixon and Najee Harris are the same fucking guy. Their prices are very similar. They both have similar overall roles in their offense. I would say that the Steelers are probably going to push to run the ball more. In terms of their matchups, Buffalo versus Minnesota, it's pretty similar in terms of the interior defensive lines. You probably see Joe Mixon with a better matchup. That might be a tough decision, maybe an ownership thing. We'll keep going here. Chris Carson, decent price. Gibson, decent price, but he didn't see any third down usage at all really last year or in the preseason this year. And then we keep going. We're kind of to this range now where a lot of these guys are just kind of okay. Like Mike Davis is down here, 5,400. Would have been a great play. They signed Wayne Gallman. I think Wayne Gallman's going to be involved. In my opinion, there's not much difference between Mike Davis and Wayne Gallman, right? They both were drafted in the 4th round a few years back. Gallman's a year younger. They both are the same size running backs. They both have been pretty similarly efficient in receiving and rushing, both in their careers and last year. It's 8 top 24 finishes last year for Mike Davis, 7 for Wayne Gallman, believe it or not. Very similar guys, so that hurts his value. Damian Harris, no pass catching chops, no role for him there, although 5,200, fair price for a guy who probably is lower owned. And yeah, now you're just scrolling down. Chase Edmonds is down here at $4,600. That would be one of the cheapest guys that I would go to. I want to see where Jamal Williams. James White down here. This is a guy in GPPs that you can pair up. I probably wouldn't stack him on a Mac Jones, but I think he's going to be heavily involved with Mac Jones now. Mac Jones targeted running backs 28.9% of the time in the preseason on his 52 dropbacks. That's a lot. That's a lot more than Cam. You'll see a lot more running back targets because he gets through his progressions nicely. I think that's the lowest I'd go. I'm trying to see if anything else pops up at running back that's worth at least mentioning. Where is Javonte Williams? I saw Jamal. Javonte Williams is $4,000. So Javonte Williams is the flat minimum. I don't expect him to be the 20-touch guy right away. GPPs, at least put him on your radar for a flat minimum running back against the Giants, although might not be the best matchup. Going to be splitting with Melvin Gordon, of course. So that's at least just worth mentioning. I'm not jumping up and down to get it. So our lineup so far, as we get to wide receivers, Jalen Hurts, McCaffrey, and Najee Harris. All these guys, 2 pass-catching running backs with 3 down roles, and a mobile upside quarterback who's cheap in terms of price point, right? Like $1,000 cheaper than the other elite mobile rushers. So we'll take that. Let's now get to the wide receivers. As we look through this, obviously, thinking about game stacking, Atlanta, you know, you have Ridley. We're going to get to some of those guys. Philly, Devonta Smith, and we'll get through and see what we do. We're going to I'll build a cash line first, and then we can show you can pivot to a GPP. Alrighty, ladies and fellas, before we keep going, I want to let you know about the sponsors of the program today, the beautiful people over at Manscaped. And what they want to let you know is that the fantasy football season is upon us. It is time to put the PP back into your PPR league with the sponsors of the show today, that is Manscaped. The leaders of below-the-waist grooming just launched the new Performance 4.0 package. I just got it. It's fantastic. It's got a ton of stuff in there. It comes very nice. You get a nice t-shirt with it, a bunch of other stuff, of course, their equipment. And as a Packers fan, this one is very true and also very funny. Don't neglect your balls like the Packers front office has been neglecting Aaron Rodgers. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by going to manscaped.com, where you get 20% off plus free shipping using the code, very simply here, SAL. My name, S-A-L. This will help you tame the Troy Polamalu in your pants this season. Unreal ad read. So go check it out. Manscaped is actually legit. I actually reached out to my people to say, hey, can you see if Manscaped can set something up? I like what they're doing. They obviously have very memorable overall ad reads, but their products are very, very good. I highly recommend them. I now have basically 75-80% of their products is what they ended up sending me in the care package. You can get those types of packages and 20% off if you want to use the code SAL plus free shipping. Check it out today. The 99% of you that are males out there, check it out. The 1% of that are females, check it out for your fella. I'm not going to say anything bad about Devontae Adams. If we can get him in this lineup, we will. The problem is that we're already playing McCaffrey, so I don't know if we can. Same things for Tyreek Hill. I'll choose Adams over Tyreek Hill, though. There's really flip a coin. They both have similar ceilings. I would say Adams has a safer floor. Ridley, if you're talking about stacking this Philly game, he stands out to me. That's an interesting cat. We scroll down. Justin Jefferson, we talked about him in the first video. I like Justin Jefferson a lot. The target share continues to go up with Irv Smith now done for the year. Matchup against Cincinnati. They've got like one decent cornerback out there. Other than that, $7,700 for Justin Jefferson. This might be an $8,000 receiver pretty damn quick. Steph Diggs is down here. I'd probably prefer Jefferson, honestly, just based on matchup. In target share, both guys clearly elite. Steph Diggs could be an $8,200 receiver, always underpriced last year, and you really wouldn't bat an eye at it. Scrolling down, Adam Dalen, this one's crazy. I mean, I'm just clicking my man's name at $6,900. Keenan Allen is $6,900. Look, Keenan Allen last year would have led the NFL if he didn't leave 2 games early with targets per game. You want to know what he finished? 10.5 targets per game while leaving 2 games early. One of them in the first half, the other one after playing just a couple of snaps. So Davante Adams led the league at 10.6 targets. Allen had 10.5, so he almost still led the league. Oh, but Austin Eckler missed some time. He averaged over 11 targets per game when Austin Eckler played last year, which was about 8 games, right? So that is fantastic. It's fantastic for Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen now gets a matchup against Washington. He'll move into the slot. I know Washington is a good defensive line. I'm fine with that. This is a brand new revamped offensive line. Justin Herbert now. Maybe there's some fans. Maybe it hurts Justin Herbert this year since he's going to be on the road with some fans in a hostile environment in Washington for game 1, whatever it might be. Keenan Allen, this is a target monster. $6,900. That's an insane. We're trying to build up volume for cash or GPP with ceiling. I think Keenan Allen possesses that. He is just always underrated, my guy. Julio at 68, Lockett, McLaurin at 64 is a nice option as well. I think that he's similar to Allen in terms of he's going to hog targets, like 150 target season here. I'm just going to prefer Allen because Allen's targets I think are safer. They're not going to be the McLaurin 20-yard downfield targets that often, but they're going to be converted highly, and on a PPR slate, we'll take that. Deontay Johnson's here against Buffalo. Wonder if he'll see Tre'Davious White, especially in 2 wide receiver sets. Don't want to overrate the wide receiver cornerback matchup. We'll have those notes on Patreon, by the way. If you're not already a patron, check out Patreon down below. It's where we're going to have a lot of stuff. Projections, ownership, and optimizer this year. My Sunday final thoughts video discussing GPP strategy and the way that I'm going and my exposures and my stacks and all that stuff. Game-by-game notes in terms of matchups, which is going to be 10, 20 pages, whatever it ends up being. Lots of stuff. Showdown tiers and rankings and showdown ownership and optimizer for that. Check it all out down below. Join the community. Discord access. There's a lot of stuff. You can check it out. We keep going. Obviously, wide receivers deep. There's going to be a lot of flat min guys here. So we already have 1 wide receiver jotted down. Lots of solid guys here like DJ Moore, Landry. None of them are jumping off the page. I'd rather have Robbie Anderson than DJ Moore for the discount. Like Robbie Anderson a lot. Just got the new contract. Back up with Sam Darnold. He was being used as the possession receiver last year, as DJ Moore is actually the downfield receiver, which you might actually think the opposite just based on their skill sets in the past, but that's how it was. OBJ, the cheapest price I may have ever seen him, coming off the ACL, expected to play. Apparently looks fantastic in camp. He looks good. I'm tempted to put him here against Kansas City and what could be obviously that rematch. Let's put OBJ here at 5,400 and keep going down and see what happens. Cooks with no real quarterback. Jacoby Myers at 5,100, the clear wide receiver 1 there, top 10 in efficiency and yards per out run last year. Sterling Shepard, who I think is the wide receiver 1 over Kenny Golladay with the Giants, yes, and maybe not by skill set, although that's even up for debate, but just in terms of that offensive line breaking down, quicker passes coming out, not as downfield to Golladay, where he thrives on jump balls, and more so to Sterling Shepard, like you saw in the limited preseason action. Corey Davis, wide receiver 1 with the Jets, that looks good. You might be seeing no Crowder this week. Matchup against Carolina, really good. I mean, this is a very young secondary and defense in general. I like Corey Davis coming off of a career year. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I'll take T. Higgins, the veteran, for $100 less than Jamar Chase. It's not that much of a difference. I'll take that matchup. I'll take the 220-pound wide receiver on the outside, who's fast, who's 6'4", who showed it last year, while Chase hasn't really showed much at this point, and I think Chase might even be higher owned. And we continue to go down. You see Devonta Smith, who we can pair up, and I'll just click Devonta Smith's name. Now, if you watch my season-long videos, I'm not as high on Devonta Smith, but for a game-to-game basis, for stacking reasons, I like Devonta Smith. He has talent. It's just I don't like him as much as a rookie as other guys like Corey Davis, like Marvin Jones, like 4 to 5 other receivers ahead of where I had those guys ranked. So we'll slide in Odell Beckham Jr. We'll slide in Devonta Smith as our receivers. We now have 3,600, which is not a lot, but I still want to continue to look through these quarter or wide receivers. But let's just go down here to defense quickly. Bengals against Minnesota sounds good to me. I'm just going to put them in. I don't really care what the defense is. Now that gets us up to $4,500 per player. Let's look through the rest of these receivers before we get to tight end. So the rest of these receivers now, Michael Pittman at 4,100. Okay, so let's take Odell out of here. I like Odell. It's a run-first offense, but Michael Pittman, the wide receiver 1 and a run-first offense, and Carson Wentz expected to be playing now. No T.Y. Hilton, clear number 1 wide receiver, second pick or the first pick of the second round last year, or second pick of the second round was T. Higgins was the second pick of the second round of the draft. Pittman was the first pick by the Colts. I believe they traded up for the Jonathan Taylor pick, and then they had Pittman earlier in that round. But Pittman for a discount of $1,300, $4,100 for Pittman, we'll take that all day. We now have $5,100 to spend, a tight end and then a flex. I still want to look at wide receivers just to see what's so cheap down there, but we have Devonta Smith because we're approaching the 3K range, and there's going to be great options. So now we're at 4K flat. We just talked about Michael Pittman. We scrolled down. Some nice options. AJ Green's down here if you're looking to stack. MVS. Look at this. Marvin Jones at 3,600. Has the AC joint sprain. I expect Marvin Jones to play. I fully expect Marvin Jones to play for this game. He could have played in the last preseason game, they're saying. Expected to play with the shoulder, the joint sprain. I'm tempted to put Marvin Jones in this lineup. So let's take out Pittman, who Marvin Jones I also think is the number one receiver, a strong quarterback, and Trevor Lawrence might even be better than Carson Wentz already, believe it or not. So let's put a Marvin Jones over Pittman, but all these guys are in play. Obviously, this is just a week of value. We keep going. Zach Pascal going to have more of a role now with no Mr. T.Y. Hilton. Marquez Callaway, the preseason darling with the 2 touchdowns. Matchup against Jair Alexander should definitely concern you. PFF's number one cornerback last year, but clearly has to be in play. Jalen Waddle's here, again with no Will Fuller. Should see a more important role if you're trying to stack 2 of this week. Tough secondary, but still solid. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I want to there's obviously a long laundry list. I want to look up a couple of guys that are down here in terms of, I assume so Rondale Moore, the rookie right now, he's going to be on the field a ton. Probably short passes. So, I mean, he might see 6 targets, catch 5 of them for 30 yards, which doesn't sound great, but 8 fantasy points, which touchdown upside with end around upside like you saw in the preseason. He had some rushing attempts. Rondale Moore, they're going to script him in. This is what they were missing last year. Larry Fitzgerald was so inefficient that the underneath passes were really bad. It made it so their offense couldn't go vertical. They had to put DeAndre Hopkins in the short to intermediate because he was the only guy getting open. Now they have Rondale Moore to do that. So Rondale Moore clearly in play at $3,000 flat. Some other rookies in terms of Terrace Marshall, who had a great preseason. The problem is their offense is loaded with McCaffrey coming back, Moore, Robbie Anderson. When you get to Marshall, it's like, all right, well, shit, what do we do with all these guys? But Marshall is probably already the number one red zone weapon. He had 13 touchdowns with his offensive coordinator now, Joe Barry, when he was at LSU in 2019, and that was with playing alongside Jamar Chase, playing alongside Justin Jefferson. He still had 13 touchdowns, 23 touchdowns in his last 2 seasons. He's a man among boys out there as a rookie. Keep that in mind as well. And then Elijah Moore is very interesting if he is indeed healthy and ready to go like they're saying. The rookie for the Jets who got all the hype. Some of that cooled off because he was injured. He said he doubts, so let's see what this update is actually. Final preseason game, he doubts he'll play. So we'll see if Moore ends up playing. We'll track the injury news, but Crowder is potentially questionable or doubtful for week 1. So if Crowder misses, Elijah Moore is going to have roles on the outside and the inside. As a $3,000 rookie in that offense, he would probably be my favorite rookie out of Rondale Moore, Elijah Moore, and Terrace Marshall. And at $3,000 flat, it's hard not to like him if he's starting and there's no Crowder. Like, it's really hard not to put him into most of your lineups. We'll have to track that news. But let's stick with this right now. So we clearly need to, and accidentally opened up McCaffrey, we clearly need to get a nice tight end and a decent flex, but we have $5,400 left. Tight ends are normally not that expensive. We have Hurts, we have McCaffrey, we have Najee. Love that. We have volume in Keenan Allen. We have upside from stacking with Devonta Smith. If you don't want Devonta Smith, go cheaper. Go to Elijah Moore if that opens up. If you're not playing a GP or a GPP to stack, go to Michael Pittman if you prefer that. And we have Marvin Jones at $3,600, who, as long as he's healthy, I mean, in the preseason, he saw a 40% target rate. And the NFL average is like 15%, a 40% target rate in a limited sample with Trevor Lawrence. All camp long, it was his raving reviews on Trevor Lawrence to Marvin Jones. And Marvin Jones has the most touchdown upside, in my opinion, out of LeChenault and DJ Shark, who is still dealing with some sort of injury, although back at practice. So let's go to tight ends now. Tight ends I normally don't spend up on. If you're still watching again, please do take a second of your time and hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know in the comments who is your favorite tight end this week. Do you have Kelsey up top? He's too expensive. I mean, give me Devontae Adams over Kelsey all day. It's the same exact thing within the regular season drafts. Kittle, run first offense. I think Ayuk's the number one receiver. Debo's there. I'm just not going to go there right away. TJ Hawkinson's the first name that I look at and go, okay, like this guy might legit see as a tight end like a 25% target share week 1, which is just insane, maybe even higher. So against San Francisco, $4,900. They're going to play at a slower pace. We don't know the connection. I can maybe find something more stable for cheaper. Goddard, I think you're paying too much. Like, give me, where's Zach Ertz? Like, Zach Ertz is $3,800. Goddard is $4,800. The $1,000 discount, yeah, I'll just take Zach Ertz. Like, these guys are both going to be running similar amounts of routes. They're both going to probably see similar targets. Just give me Zach Ertz for $1,000 cheaper. We continue to go down tight ends. Logan Thomas is here, always a decent mid-round pick in your fantasy drafts. $4,600 is more than fair. Kyle Pitts is here at $4,400, so we'll click on Pitts because, I mean, the guy only ran 2 routes in the preseason, played 2 snaps. One of them was beautiful. Seam, massive catch. It looked great. If we play Kyle Pitts, we only have $6,400 left, which I believe was the price of, like, Terry McLaurin. We just missed out on Aaron Jones, who's $6,800. It's in that range. Oh, we can fit Joe Mixon at $62. So that's if we want to go Kyle Pitts. And then if we wanted to, we can do this. So if we want to go Kyle Pitts, you can go Joe Mixon, have $200 left over if you really wanted to advance another position. That's not a terrible lineup. Not a terrible lineup. We have the run back naturally with Kyle Pitts in the stack, so that's pretty cool with the stack of Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith. Let's see if we can find a better upgrade for a cheaper tight end, but that's one option for you, right there. That's a GPP stack, Kyle Pitts on the run back, and you get Joe Mixon, a 3-down back with pass catching chops, just like McCaffrey and Najee Harris. And you actually get Joe Mixon, the small correlation, it's not a lot, but the small correlation with the Bengals defense that we're playing. So that's actually a really solid lineup. Tonyan's a little bit too much money for the role that Kyle Pitts is going to have. A lot of these guys, right? Like, if we know Kyle Pitts, who's probably going to be chalky at $4,400, is going to have a great role. Why would I play Gesicki? Why would I play Tonyan or Jonnu Smith or Evan Ingram, who's questionable, or Austin Hooper, who have just kind of sketchy roles? Ertz over Goddard for me for the price discount. Now you're getting into these like tight end 2 territory. Hayden Hurst. Gerald Everett is a starting tight end, new team. 3,400, not bad if you wanted to go there and just punt it. Not really sure what his role is going to be, so I'm not as confident. Going down some more, you have Tyler Conklin, 2,900. I mean, Tyler Conklin, we click his name. He's the starting tight end now with Irv Smith done. Last year, he saw 28 targets. Listen to this, 28 targets in the final 4 games of the year with no Kyle Rudolph. And that's with Irv Smith playing. So he already has a connection with Kirk Cousins. 28 targets for a tight end, 7 per game in a 4-game stretch. And that's with Irv Smith playing. He was filling in for Kyle Rudolph, who was hurt, who's also off this team with the Giants now. So that's nice, too. That would actually be a nice part of a Minnesota Cincy stack. I think we had Tyler Conklin in our first video now that I think about it. And if we play him at 2,900, that leaves us $7,900. Wow. So $7,900. What does that get us at the wide receiver position? So $7,900 at the wide receiver position just misses out on Adams, but it gets us Calvin Ridley, which would be the stack run back. So there you go. We miss out on the Kyle Pitts Atlanta stack run back, but you get Calvin Ridley, and who might have a 30% target share, who averages over 20 fantasy points per game without Julio Jones. And now he's not on the team, Julio Jones. Breaking news for some people. And also, yeah, you might be saying, oh, but Calvin really never got the number 1 receiver or cornerbacks. No, he did. Last year he did. Julio Jones saw shadow majority coverage from number 1 cornerbacks 0 times. You know who did? 4 times? 4 times. It doesn't happen every game, right? A lot of zones they face. It's not always one-on-one every single time. 4 times was Calvin Ridley. Jair Alexander, Marshawn Lattimore twice, and Casey Hayward. None for Julio Jones. They viewed Calvin Ridley as the number 1 last year. Now gets his Philadelphia secondary that they try to make some improvements in the offseason. Not too much. So that leaves us at a pretty nice spot. We get the stack, we get the run back. So this is a GPP lineup, of course, because it has some stacking upside, but solid. But if you didn't want to play the GPP lineup and you just kind of wanted to find the best values, I wouldn't play then Devonta Smith because I'm not too high on him, especially for cash. Instead, I would probably go and let's just say Michael Pittman. So I would go Michael Pittman over Devonta Smith. That gives us 8,300, and look at that. That gives us Devontae Adams. We missed out on Kamara, but Devontae Adams, we put him in. He plays late, so we'll put him in the flex. That's pretty solid. So if you're playing GPP, yeah, I would probably want to stack Jalen Hurts, even though he has mobile upside. I'm not into running players naked these days because if he's really going to win a GPP, probably throws a couple touchdowns, and you hope that it's a Devonta Smith. So this would be more of a cash build, but this looks pretty damn solid. I mean, this looks better than the other one, just no correlation. So what we did there was we just took Devonta Smith and made him Michael Pittman, which is not much of a difference there for me, in my opinion. We just lose the correlation if we're going more for a cash game. And then we upgrade Calvin Ridley to Devontae Adams, which maybe is not the most major of an upgrade for many people out there, but obviously Devontae Adams' floor is insane. Calvin Ridley's is pretty nice too, but just insane. Devontae Adams led all players last year in fantasy points per game over everybody, including Alvin Kamara. He beat him out. So this is pretty solid. So there's sort of some cash lineup here, some GPP options, that Joe Mixon option as well, if you wanted to Kyle Pitts as the running back. But yeah, I think we did a pretty fine job. Defenses, I don't really care about. I'm playing the cheapest possible defense that's not against one of the most elite quarterbacks in the league. You can look at some totals. You can look at their pressure rates. I don't really care about defenses. We overrate our ability to choose them is what everybody says, and I actually agree with that. So there you go. There's the first look lineup. Appreciate it. Week 1 is here. A lot more content coming out. Check my Twitter for the pinned tweet for all the content that is coming out. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Before you go, like and subscribe and join Patreon if you're not already. Get in the Discord. We'll say hi. We got a huge community in there of about 500 patrons now. We have all the tools. They're all linked down below if you want to see exactly what you would get. Ownership, projections, optimizers, key stats, showdown rankings, and ownership and projections. My Sunday Closing Thoughts podcast, 20 to 40 minutes depending on the week, how many games there are. Discussing my strategy, some optimizer settings, exactly what I'm doing, and a whole lot more. Game by game notes. Check it all out down below. You all rock. Football's here. Can't wait. There's your schmacks, and we'll see you in the next one.